Okay. Yeah.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm here with Mark Melsness. This is Jennifer Noreen. I work with Mark on his online marketing at his company, Spinnaker Property Management. They're located in Tacoma, and Mark always has interesting things to share with us about the market and about COVID-19 and property management industry and what's going on. He lives it and breathes it every day. So, Mark, good afternoon. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Jennifer. Hello, everyone.
Hey, so can you give us an update? We haven't talked in a few weeks. What's going on with Spinnaker? What's going on with your business? If you were just to speak to your owners and they were all sitting there in the room with you, what's going on with your business based on COVID-19 and the direction we're getting from the governor?
Yeah, well, that's a split two question, because there's how Spinnaker is doing in the market as a business, and how is the market actually doing in this current environment. And I'll speak to the latter, which is the market. Right now, we have historic occupancy. There is just such a small notice of people actually moving out of our already existing homes.
Yeah.
And such a high demand for the homes that we do get notices or that become vacant, or if it's a new client that we bring to the market. And through June, we saw a really strong demand for what we put on the market. And we've already seen that again here just this week, even though it's the end of June. Today is the 1st of July. And doesn't matter type of home, apartment, condos, single family, starting at $1,200 up to almost $5,000. We're still seeing a really strong demand, and our rates are continually growing month over month in value.
So do you think people are staying put just because of COVID-19? It's kind of like, who knows what's going to happen, so I'm not going to buy or rent somewhere else. I'm going to stay where I am.
That's part of it. I also think that people go out to look and they don't see what is on the market is what works for them, or what they saw that they were interested in is already gone. So that's part of it. I think what we have works, so let's not rock the boat. And I don't want to go out and start looking and bump into who we don't know we're going to bump into.
So what do you mean you don't want to go out and start looking and bump into someone? What do you mean by that?
I want to stay home and stay safe. Yeah, because
I see what you're saying. So just to stay home, stay safe thing, where nobody wants to be out looking for a new home right now. Got ya.
So it's a mixture of that.
And so are you affected in a normal market? Are you affected by people looking for other places to rent, or are you affected by people looking for other places to buy, or both?
Both. One of the things that we are seeing a huge spike in, well, not a huge spike, but a spike in is our owners are letting the leases expire during COVID. And
wow, yeah.
Move out, and they're not going back on the market because they're for rent, they're going on the market for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And a few are actually moving back into their investments.
So just kind of slowing down some normal trends that you usually have with people moving out and looking for something new. Everything's just a little stagnant, would you say?
Well, on the move out, yes. On the move in, when we do have homes available and people get in line and they're in first position, they want to move in as soon as possible, typically, if it's vacant.
Yeah. So if you have a property that you're thinking about making a rental, or if you're looking to buy something to rent out as an investment property, this is a pretty optimal time to do so. Would you say so?
Yeah. Right now, with the COVID, the governor's proclamation about giving renters notice from the landlord to move, and renewals are postponed. So we're pretty much, if they're renewing or the lease expiring within this period of time, it just stays at that on a month-to-month status. For us and for the homeowner's benefit, when the renter gives notice to move, now we have possession. We can bring the market up to rent, which has been really aggressive, and we can get it occupied relatively quickly. So it when it does come available, it does create additional value.
Yeah, and you're renting them out right away, I'm sure.
So if you were to buy an investment and bring it to the rental market, there's a really strong chance that we'll be able to get top dollar with almost immediate move.
Yeah. Okay. And so you mentioned before we went live here about August 4th. So August 4th is when we're getting another status from the governor that you think things might shift, or you're not sure, or
Well, that's when the current proclamation expires. And we're now on the first extension of the original proclamation. And during the extension of the first proclamation, some of the things that on the original proclamation were extended out to August 1st when they expired in June, or
uh-huh,
August 4th, excuse me, on June 3rd.
uh-huh.
And then the governor also added some new provisions to the landlords and management companies to deal with certain things, like they wanted to take possession and move in or sell the home. So we could then give proper notice for that. Or there was some significant harm to the property or criminal activity that would give us, to an access to remedy those concerns.
Well,
Pretty
that's
much
good.
everything else was the same.
Yeah. So if I'm making some decisions about buying an investment property, is there anything going on right now that you feel like affects that decision? Like, should I wait till August 4th and see where things land, or should I just freely decide what I'm going to do? Do you think that things are going to shift?
Sure, the conservative buyer would definitely wait,
Mm-hmm.
because who knows if he's going to extend it, beyond the 1st of August. Um, I at this point, with what we're hearing in the news, I wouldn't be surprised when it comes to that day that he'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of time between now and then for things to happen, to get
Yeah.
better or worse.
Right.
And I'm active. I'm very conservative in my selection or the action to make an offer. And I have other clients that are just buying stuff right now anyway.
Yeah, kind of both ways. So, how has your showing of apartments and homes changed based on COVID? Yeah, I'm sure you have a virtual process just like realtors are doing, right? Do I look?
Similar.
Yeah.
Um, the 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 thing that's different with us is that we move at a lot faster pace. So
Mm-hmm.
once the home becomes available or vacant, having somebody move in the next day or two isn't uncommon. When a house for sale goes on the market, it's usually still occupied, and there's a closing and a finance date that you have to get through. That we don't go through that. So we move with more velocity, less zeros, just more velocity, and it makes it result orientated much quicker.
So when I'm buying an investment property, there's maybe you're involved or someone at your office involved. There's a lender, there's looking at properties, there's finding a renter for that property, all those pieces. Are any of those broken because of COVID, or do you feel like all those processes, like if I'm brand new to this and I'm trying to find money, I want to find the property that I want to use an investment property, and I want to obviously fill that with a renter, all those different things going on with your business, are any of those broken because of COVID? Am I able to do all that? Am I able to get financing if I need it and all of that? I mean, I know how
Sure.
banks work for a consumer right now, but are they working the same for business people trying to find loans?
Single family duplexes, triplexes, and fourplexes, it's still really um, uh, positive. There's additional restrictions, like the how much money you put down compared to what it was like before COVID, because the lender wants to have some insurance in case there's vacancy. So they minimize the loan to value rate.
Mm-hmm.
However, in those single families, 4 units and less, they're still pretty strongly with great rates, with traditional time periods between the agreement of the purchase and sale, the inspection, and then the feasibility for financing is pretty standard these days still.
Okay. And is some of that having to be done? I mean, inspections, are those still happening the same way? I
Yeah,
guess so. I guess so. He's going into the home by her himself and inspecting the home. Yeah.
they're doing it with caution and protection and with proper notice. And in some cases, I know some of my clients have lost out on opportunities because buyers have waived inspections. So they just buy it without even going inside and looking.
Yeah, you talked about that last time we visited. You're super aggressive. So willing to buy and risk whatever might be wrong with that home. That's a really aggressive buyer. Wow. So that's still the market we're in, sounds like. Yeah, I know the realtors that I have on my client list are having the hardest time because there's just no inventory. There's buyers, but there's aggressive buyers, but there's nothing. There's such a slim selection of single family, multifamily, and just even property in our area. Is that pretty much North King County all the way down to Lacey, or are there pockets of investment property opportunity, do you think?
Well,
or do you think it's pretty much the same no matter where you are in this greater Puget Sound area?
I've read a few publications that have contrasting opinions on things. Some have said that the occupancy has dropped, and some have said that the rates have increased. And in the South Puget Sound, which is where our primary territory and the homes that we manage are in, we're just seeing the best of both worlds. Besides, the delinquency that we still have to deal with, which is something that the banks are concerned with, because delinquency and vacancy is the same thing, no cash.
Sure.
So we still have a historic high because of the impact of COVID, and we're still performing, better than the average or the industry average of delinquency.
Yeah. So are you doing more as a business? Are you doing more taking care of your residents than you are signing in new owners? I mean, like, is your day-to-day business shifted from more just maintenance of your existing renters and the properties you have, or are you still as busy taking in new owners and setting up new owner clients?
We have a big demand for new client owners. So, some of them are in the process of looking to buy. Some of them are actually buying. Some of them already own, and they're shopping around, so they're looking for the best fit. And
sure.
So we get a good flow of that on a weekly basis. And as far as it goes with the tenants and the occupants, we're just shifting our conversation, adding more value to the ones who are having challenges paying their rent on time or in full, to giving them access to the resources, or in addition to payment plans, so that they stay and we avoid vacancy and operating costs that happen and come along with vacancy.
So you're working equally on both sides of your business, sounds like.
Absolutely. That's exactly what we're here for.
Yeah.
The landlord doesn't work well without a renter, and the renter doesn't live well without a landlord.
Sure, you have to have both. So, and you are notoriously a little bit high in your pricing. Can you talk a little bit about that? How do you compare with the pricing of other property management firms?
The amount of rent that we get monthly that returns back to the owner? Are you talking about our fees? Oh,
your
yes.
Fees. And I know how I would answer that question, but I'm curious to know how you would answer that question.
Yeah, well, I think I just kind of sheepishly just plugged myself, is because we're just so in tune, and I play a big part in determining the rentability and the market value of the home that we bring to the market. And being an investor myself, and I deal with it and digest it on a daily basis, even in my sleep, I get to bring not only the process of putting a good quality renter in the home that pays on time and takes care of it. We get to do it in a short period of time for the best possible price. And we make it very simple. We have our 3 fees, and it's really tailored to the amount of units that any one particular owner has or brings to in a portfolio. And it's that simple.
Yeah, so it's, and I would answer that question with your over 35 years of combined, I don't know what the combination of experience is now in your office, but I know it's always around 30 years, not to age you at all, but this isn't your first rodeo, and you've functioned as a realtor in the community, but you've also been an investor and been, from a background of investing. And so you think in terms of this business, and I don't think that's the case for all property managers. So I think you bring the ability to manage properties, but also just your expertise in consulting and advising. And I don't think you bill for any of that, which is amazing. So And you can also, what a lot of people don't realize about Spinnaker is that you can get a lot of that advice before you even work with them. So if you're looking at an investment property, you're not sure which area of the Puget Sound to buy in, Mark is a great advisor on that, as is his team, and you will get some direction before you even decide to do business with them. So I think that's a great quality that you bring, and I am sure it's a differentiator for you in the market. And yeah, you are a little bit more expensive, but I think you're not billing for that knowledge and that consulting, and so I think you could think of it as a client as that being wrapped in. Is what am I overall going to gain from a relationship with Spinnaker, as opposed to just thinking of it in terms of functioning as managing their assets. So there you go.
You're right on the button.
I am your marketing person, so
no extra.
What's that?
We have our 3 set fees and services, and we don't bill for anything outside of that.
No, you don't. And there's not that much you don't do for your clients. And I know that to be true from seeing your office in action. And I mean, I am your marketing person. I'm completely biased, and I admit that. I help with that out front. I do need to believe in what you're doing, but I have spent a lot of hours in your office, and I kind of see how it functions. And I know that you have a solid team, and I know that the other side of this COVID thing for you, I know, is that you've had to function a little bit lean as a team and share job roles and be extra patient with each other on who's doing what. And I have never really sensed, unless they truly go home and kick their cat or something, or they yell at their spouse, I really haven't sensed that. It just seems like things have rolled forward as business as usual, which is a compliment to you. So thanks, Mark, and thanks for your chatting today. It sounds like everybody's kind of crossing their fingers about August 4th to see what happens there with the governor. That might be a good time for us to chat again, maybe a day or so after that, just to kind of see how that affected things, and give our owners any other tips or advice that you wanted to give them. So if I want to work with Mark and his team, and I'm an owner looking for an investment property, or I have one that I need him to manage, what do I do? Mark, take it away.
Yeah, I invite you to reach out to me directly at 253-606-0573 or on our website, and I would be happy to find out more about what your expectations are and how we can fulfill those, and most likely supersede those, so we can deliver peace of mind.
And if I'm a current owner client of Spinnaker and I want to look at the financial documents or get more information about my rent amounts or totals or all of that, you can use the owner portal to do that at spinnakerpm.com. Or again, if you're a new inquiry and you just want to get information, you can call, or you can also inquire on the site. So thanks again, Mark. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks. Always good to see you.
Right. Be well, stay safe.